Hello, everybody. Y'all, we are here for Let's Talk. I'm like, what is that noise? I
I
guess
was about
that's
to say, was it a? I
it's
don't
a,
know.
it was like a new add-on for. I was like, what is that?
It's
Sound like
live, y'all. It's live.
yeah, but
Yes.
listen, we are live, guys. This is our segment, Let's Talk Collaboration. And as you can see, we have a new face here today, our guest. And what we'll do is we'll allow our guest to go first so she can just let everybody know a little bit about her, darling, and what it is that she does. And so let's give it up for Chanel Evans. Chanel, how you doing, darling?
I
Tell everybody
am
about yourself.
fantastic. I'm fantastic. I'm excited to be here to talk about this topic. My name is Chanel with Socially Savvy, and founder-led organizations and consultants bring me on their team. Quite honestly, most of the time they have a love-hate relationship with social media. And we overcome that love-hate relationship by giving them easy to implement social media strategies so that they can attract more of their dream clients. So yeah, collaboration is certainly one of the areas that we work with. So I'm excited about the conversation.
Awesome. And I know you probably get a ton of people wanting to collaborate, especially when you're talking about that topic of social media.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And of course, y'all have seen this young lady before, Deana Jean. Deana, go ahead and tell everybody about yourself.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm so glad to see all of y'all here on this amazing Monday or whatever it is that you actually get a chance to view this. Y'all, I am Deanna Jean, and folks call me your collab queen, and I am really privileged to be the founder of the Success Tribe, and that's a space where folks come to network specifically for the purposes of collaboration, and we do that because collaboration is so much stronger than competition. So everywhere I go, on stages, in our community, at in-person events, it is all about helping people come together to go further faster through collaboration, and I'm super excited to be here today.
Fun. Well, I'm so excited to be here with you guys. And I'll introduce myself. Now,
Okay.
before we get into this, also for anybody that's watching us live, we are streaming on multiple platforms Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, and our YouTube. So drop a comment. Let us know where you guys are chiming in from. If this information is good, let us know as well. We definitely love the feedback. And to introduce myself, Taurea Vision Avant. And for 10 years now, and I'm going to keep saying 10 years because I cannot believe I don't even feel old enough to say 10 years. Okay. But for 10 years, guys, I've been working with authors who are speakers and coaches or future authors because we really can show you how to write a book so quickly. But the goal is to show you how to leverage your book as a tool so that you can get on more stages. Let me just be honest, y'all. Marketing is all about who sees you, right? And so we help to get you the exposure on the stages, on the magazines, on the podcast. I mean, we just had a staff call today, y'all, and we brought in this young lady. She's been with us for months. Today, she was telling us how she's reached out to 100 podcasts, and where'd Deanna go? Well, we're gonna wait for her to pop back on in. But Chanel, I was saying that we just had a chance to talk on our staff meeting, and one of our team members, she's got 11 new podcasts that are interested in having our BPC members to be on their show. So I thought that was pretty fire. Now, where did Deanna go? You done? Okay, we're gonna see where she at. But while she's coming on in, hey, Crystal here from Atlanta, Georgia.
Hey, Crystal.
Well, Chanel, look, this is what we're gonna do until Deanna comes back, because technology does. There you go. One of our team members. I was gonna say,
Oh, you know what? Deanna trying to do double duty. That's what it is.
I hear it in the background, right?
She on her laptop. She trying to do double duty.
Because I hear the audio. So what's going on, Deanna? Can you hear us?
Girl, listen, let me tell you, you know how you pay just too much for Wi-Fi for the Wi-Fi to not be Wi-Fi-ing? I'm on my hotspot right now because Spectrum, yes, I'm gonna say it out loud, just decides when they want to work and when they don't want to work.
Yeah.
So y'all can hear me now, right?
Yes, we can hear you now. Okay, well, look, that's perfect because glad you are back because I definitely want to ask you guys, ask you ladies this question. I mean, we're talking about collaboration, and as you guys can see, the topic is collab or crash, choosing the right people to partner with.
Yeah.
And I'm going to open up the first question, and I'm going to set the tone for why I asked this question. Because both of you ladies are booked You know how they say I'm booked and busy, but it's a couple of more B's that go after the booked and busy. Booked, busy, blessed, and banked.
Mm-hmm.
You get to the bag. And
Mm-hmm.
for someone to come in on your busy schedule and want to partner with you, while yes, we love to collaborate, a lot of times people are like, we should work together. Let's do something together. And it is difficult to, you don't want to tell people no, but the truth is, do you even have the space to do it or understand like how are we supposed to do it? So my question is, with you being booked, busy, blessed, and banked, when someone comes to you and say, let's do something together, typically what is your response? And what do you actually think about that particular phrase? And so, like, should they be coming to you with something already? Like, how do you feel about that? And we'll go ahead and start with you, Deanna.
Yeah, so while my Wi-Fi is still working. So I think it has a lot to do with the context too, right? So for example, a lot of times people don't realize you can find collaboration partners on a thread on social media, right? So if I'm on a thread on social media and I'm vibing with somebody and they say, "Hey, we should do something together." That's an okay entry point from there. But what I'm looking for after that, once we get into a more intimate environment, whether it is the DMs, or whether it is that we're messaging each other, is more of an idea of what you're thinking about. So let's do something is okay as a tip of the iceberg question. But then from there, I'm looking to have you lead to say, hey, I have an event coming up. Hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Hey, I'm looking for referral partners for this. Is this something that you'd be interested in? No matter what, though, before we jump on a call or before we have lunch or before we have coffee, I need to have a more clear idea of what it is that you're looking to collab on so that I can give you a realistic idea and assessment of if we might potentially be a good fit.
Oh, I love it. Chanel, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I'll add to it from someone who approaches people to collab, right? So yes, I do get people in my DMs. Literally just happened this morning. Like, hey, I've been watching you. I want you to be a referral partner. Time out, because you've been watching me, but I don't know you, so I haven't been watching you, right? But I do approach people and say, hey, you should meet Deanna. Deanna does this. And I think that you, Taurea, will be a good fit for that. Let's have this conversation. So I like, because here's the thing, we're all busy. Some of us busier than others, some of us more booked than others, right? But at the end of the day, the less that person has to think and come up and try and figure out, well, what could we do? What if I already have an idea in mind? I'm just going to bring it to the table and say, I literally just did a podcast interview a couple weeks ago where I was on someone's thread. I said, hey, Dr. Rhonda, you should meet with Christy. We should have a conversation. Let's do a joint episode. So now I don't have to say, well, Dr. Rhonda, let's meet and let's figure out what
Figure
we
it
can
out.
do. No,
Mhm.
if people are already busy, so the less thinking they have to do, the better.
Absolutely awesome. Okay, well, let's go to our next question. Deanna.
Yes, let's go to the next question. All right. Now this is a good one, right? Because we are all about the vibes, right? All about the good vibes, especially social media and all of that. But how do you balance we vibe well, Taurea, with can they actually do the work? How do
Mm.
you strike that balance? This is good. Y'all make sure to get your notes together for this one.
Absolutely. And shout out to Junior McCady as well as Dr. Tajiri. She's in the Facebook group. But if you're watching this, y'all drop in the comments too so we can put you on the screen. But yes, this is a good question because this is the thing. There's so many people that I meet in business that, man, they're just great personalities. They're great people. They have the great aura, right? And, we vibe, right? You my people's like we can be friends, but vibing does not mean working together. It's not the same thing. And
Mhm.
so one thing that I have come to learn too is because I can vibe with someone very quickly. I can feel that energy. I'm like, "Oh man, you're good people." And then you get into let's do something together and realize they hustle is not the same as your hustle.
Not the
They're
same.
they're th- they're like the things that are important to them are not as important to you. And so now something that could have just been a great friendship that you turned into a partnership that should not have been now becomes totally nothing. You guys actually
Mhm.
break apart. And so just because someone says, hey, we vibe well, doesn't necessarily mean that we should work together. So before you get into the, hey, let's oh man, we're good, we're friends, we, let's do a business, I think that we need to have a healthy conversation about what are the intentions, some things that we've talked about before. What are your intentions? What are the goals? What are some of your morals? What do you believe in? So that we can know that moving down the line, it actually makes sense for us to be in
Mm.
business, or should we just be in friendship?
Yeah, I mean that's just like real relationships, right? Like
Mhm.
some people that you vibe well with, that's cool. You kick it with them, but you don't want to necessarily date them or propose marriage, right?
Exactly.
Chanel,
Right.
Chanel, what do you think? Because you be out there with the vibes, right? You be out there. Chanel was vibing this weekend. She taking the pictures.
I
Everybody
see
kicking it.
them out there.
Everybody kicking it. So Chanel, how do you balance this?
This is definitely an important question, right? And so one way that I determine vibes versus do we work well together is I actually will spend money with you. But I'll actually spend money with you. It might look like, me buying a master class and getting a feel for the funnel. It may be me attending a networking event that you're hosting. Hey, Chanel, we should host something. Let's do an event together. All right, cool. When's your next event? Let me go to your event. Let me see what type of people you draw in. Oh, Chanel, we should do this program or course together. Let me join your $97 course and see the type of people you attract. Let me see how you move. Let me see how you teach. So yes, there are vibes and there are working together vibes, right? And you got to be mindful because here's the thing, when especially people like the three of us. I'm out at events, you're out and you're meeting people. We draw people in. We're magnetic. We people like hanging around with us, but hanging around and me referring people to you is different than us literally sharing a bank account. And
Mm.
sometimes you got to draw the line, but also just get a feel for it and do little test things like, let me just buy your offer and see how you work. Let me see how you coach. Let me see how you move with your people.
Ooh,
Mm,
I love that. I love
good. That's
that.
good.
That's good. And that's how Chanel and I actually
Yeah.
ended up collaborating and like meeting each other. I
Hmm.
paid Chanel for something, and this was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
Come on
crazy.
now.
I paid Chanel for something, then she paid me for something, then we did something together, and it just started to build. But that's what it is. You got to take the little stair steps. And similarly with Taurea, same thing, right? Like
Mhm.
you have to be able to do the little things. So I love the idea of
Absolutely.
investing first
Yeah.
and then figuring out where you could go from there.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. All right, Chanel, on to you.
Okay. So this question definitely is important. So we talked about the vibes, right? We're talking about the vibes. We're talking about working together. Is it important for you to actually like the person that you're collaborating with? So I know
Ooh.
I got my thoughts on it,
Right.
but I wanted to hear y'all thoughts.
Okay. Okay. Deanna, you want to go first?
I'm gonna jump in this one. And again, remember, these are Deanna's thoughts, right? I'm not speaking for nobody else on the stage. I'm not speaking for nobody else on the Success Tribe, nobody in my family. This is just Deanna. Um, disclaimer, right? I I cannot collaborate with people that I don't like. I can't collaborate with people that I don't vibe with because again, I think it's just like a relationship, right? I don't think you should marry somebody that you don't actually like as a person first. Why? Because collaboration and relationships are hard. There are going to be disagreements. There are going to be points where you're going to have hard conversations. There are going to be times when you really have to dig deep. Life is lifing for everybody, and collaboration is just not saying, hey, let's trade audiences. Collaboration really is about a lot of times failing forward a few times before you hit the really, really great idea, the really great opportunity. And if I don't like you as a person, I'm out the first sign that I get that like there's something going on that I'm not feeling. So
Yeah.
for me personally, I have to actually like who this person is as a person. And if I like them and then at some point in time they switch up or things change, that's a really good way for me to exit because I there has to be that connection and that vibe there for me personally. That's me.
Absolutely.
Taria, what about you?
The thoughts and the opinions of Tariq. No, I'm playing. Well, I'm with you on that. And I'll even, what I want to do is not to just piggyback on your answer. I want to even add in the conversation of, okay, I like you, but maybe you did something I did not like. And I think, especially when we are talking to people who are first generational entrepreneurs, right? And I'm always talking about giving grace. I am a first generational entrepreneur. I don't know about you guys, but did nobody tell me about all the things we've had to learn by bumping our heads? And so, with that stated, the reason why I think it's also important to actually like the person, because just because a person may mess up, just because a person may do something maybe you didn't necessarily agree with, if you like the person, then you'll be willing to maybe have the conversation and give grace. And so, one thing we talked about before, Deanna, is that in this process of collaborating, it takes time. That's why her and I, we meet every week, y'all. And through this process, we've even been able to have those conversations. Okay, is there anything that you see on at my end that you don't like, and vice versa? It doesn't mean that if I don't like something you did, I don't like you. And so I think we need to learn how to have those, understand the differences of the two, because I have seen people who were literally, y'all was just two peas in the pod. And because they went off and did something, maybe they had they didn't know, they didn't
Right.
intentionally
That part.
do
Yeah.
it to make you mad or to do something wrong, but we didn't have those healthy conversations with the person. We just cut them off. And
Yeah.
so I think it is important to like the person. It doesn't mean you're going to always like everything that they do. And I think that is very important to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that because you want that same grace extended to you as well.
Absolutely.
We can't always all show up on our best days.
Yeah.
And again, just like a relationship, right? There's gonna be some times where you need the person to be able to look at you, be like, all right, you on one today, and I'm gonna let you have it, right? Don't be on one tomorrow, but you on one today. I'm gonna let you have it, right?
Uh-huh.
Versus, just like walking out or not giving you enough grace to correct it. So
Yeah.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Anything you wanted to add to it, Chanel? Because I know you said I got some opinions on
No,
this,
no,
and
no.
we want to know what your thoughts are.
No, yes, you guys definitely touched on some of the things that I was thinking. But in addition to liking someone, because like can, kind of go up and down, right? But even if sometimes you might not like the person, if you trust them, if you have that underlying trust, then you're like, you know what? I don't really like you today. However, I trust that you have my best interest at heart. Then that collaboration is strong. But trust obviously is something that's built over and over and over again. And so if
That's
you
good.
misuse the like and you misuse the no and you misuse the trust, then that's when the kind of the relationship tends to sever, because it's like, okay, I trusted you and I don't like you. Is one thing if I trust you and I don't like you today, right? Just think like we said, like Deanna says, just like a relationship. You might not always like your husband, but you trust that they have your best interests at heart. Same in a business collaboration. You know what? I didn't like the way you showed up online today. I didn't like that tone that you had, but I trust that we can have this conversation and that you have my best interests at heart. So there's the no, there's the like, and then that trust, I think, is like the underlying part. So can you do business with someone that you don't necessarily like today? I don't necessarily advise it, but you definitely want to make sure that there is trust that's built.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, we're gonna go into the bonus question, and
Yeah.
I think that this is important when we talk about the breakup or exit strategies. And so, where in the process, because it may not always work out, do you introduce exit strategies so it doesn't feel like a breakup? So that now, when you see the person at the places you always saw them, y'all still can communicate.
You can still talk. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll jump in on this one. So I think that just like with any communication, we've talked about this a lot. Communication is really the lifeblood of every collaboration. So I really believe that you have to have that conversation up front. You need to know what the exit strategy is. What is the criteria that you're using to determine if this is successful or not? And like being able to say, like, hey, and it's okay if like this doesn't work out. So I think it's really important from the beginning to be able to identify and to be really, really clear when the vibes are still high, right? What it looks like if this doesn't work out, what that means, and what the process looks like moving forward.
I think I definitely agree with that. When the vibes are still high, that's when you want to have those conversations. How about you, Chanel? How do you talk, or do you have the conversation of an exit strategy with a potential collaboration partner?
Yeah, you definitely want to have upfront what those goals are and what success looks like, right? And doing it when everybody is level headed, everybody is in good spirits. Because in the first few months, everybody, in honeymoon phase, right? Everybody hot and heavy, y'all having fun, the money's flowing, but you got to have those conversations then, because when things get hard, then it's harder to balance out the emotion. Is harder to balance out your perceptions. The one thing that I strongly suggest though too is having like a neutral party that you be able to, what is it, me, am I tripping, is it okay, so that way you have somebody that can be like a sounding board for you, because sometimes your relationship can be affected by the ups and the downs that you're having in your personal life that you're bringing into your business. And if you don't have somebody outside of your collaboration that you can bounce ideas off of, then you put a lot of weight into that collaboration, where sometimes you may not necessarily need to do that.
Mm.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with that. And I just want to even add in some other things when it comes to, that exit strategy, not to piggyback, because I always try to add additional value on top of it. Um, I think, one of the things you guys, talk about is, being able to have those healthy conversations, also having someone else there that can look on the outside in. But I also think, too, having, like you said, up front, like a clear understanding. So let me just be transparent. Anybody I'm doing business with, I don't care if it's my auntie. We signing some paperwork. And
Mhm.
I think that it's
Yeah.
important
Yeah.
because and I won't even say that it's because we both can't really separate the two, family over business, but we sometimes both can't separate the two.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important when you
Mhm.
have it on paperwork, there's a clear understanding of the expectations and intentions.
Mhm.
Anytime I ever look at a collaboration where we broke up and we broke up bad, it was because we never sat down up front and had a clear understanding of what we were expecting from each other. And
Mhm.
I take the blame. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to put the responsibility on the other person, because all we can do is grow in this. And it doesn't mean give up. A lot of times, ladies, I don't know if you guys have heard someone, because y'all don't do this, but I don't know if you ever heard someone like, I don't work with people. I'm done working with people. I got burnt 2 times. You know how many times you're gonna get burnt in this process of
Girl.
entrepreneurship,
Right.
right? Like, you can't give up, but all you can do is get better and make sure that, in the process of working with someone, however, it may look, you want to have a clear understanding up front. So we sign off on paperwork just so that I know it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all want to add to that as well? Just even the conversation of signing off, or even like just like how to know that when we move forward, we are understanding the intentions of each other.
Yeah, I think it's the paperwork piece, but I think you alluded to it earlier, Taria. You you can't just show up on the day of the collaboration, collect the money and then peace out. You have to, it's a relationship. You
Yeah.
have to nurture it. So
Mhm.
you have to have touch points. There should be times when y'all are talking and connecting that maybe aren't necessarily always directly tied to that specific collaboration. Like,
Mhm.
you have to find ways and opportunities to really go deeper so that you can reap a deeper benefit, because shallow collaborations are going to get you a shallow result,
Yeah.
Mm,
right? So, and I love the point that Chanel made about having a third party.
Mhm.
So important. Again, going back to relationships, it's like being in a marriage and having, a marriage therapist or a mediator or somebody that can be able to look and say, all right, you said that, but that's not really what you meant, or this is what I heard,
right.
versus all of the emotion that can be tied up in that relationship.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, ladies, listen. So we are going to go ahead and get ready to close this on out. I did see a question from Crystal. Crystal, it wasn't really tied to the collaboration. So on this particular one, I'm going to have Deanna and Chanel to make sure that they can connect you with
Yes.
any additional information on how to touch them directly. So how to reach out to them directly. And so I guess we'll go into that. So Deanna, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, what is it that they need to do?
Yes. Well, thank you again for such an amazing conversation. And Crystal or anyone else, y'all, my DMs are wide open. That is one of my favorite ways to collaborate. So if you are watching this, make sure that you're connected to me on either LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram. LinkedIn and Facebook are going to be Deana Jean. And then Instagram is Your Collab Queen. Connect with me there. And then also this summer, we have an amazing summer series going in the Success Tribe. We're bringing in awesome speakers around business growth strategy. And if you want a guest pass, then go ahead and hit me up in the DMs and I'll get you a guest pass to our next session. We have Kirsten Allen coming on to talk about LinkedIn growth strategy. So make sure you pop into that.
Love it. And hold on, let me just drop this right here. Alfred. Hey, Alfred, what's going on? We see you in the chat as well as Crystal. I just want to make sure I highlight the folks who did watch us live. And for those who are watching the replay, we will be airing this on the T Squared Impact Network. Chanel, what would you like to share with our folks?
Yeah, so collaboration is a fun and powerful way to build your audience, but your social media got to reflect what you can do so they can reach out to you and see, you know what, she actually does what she says she does. She got the audience that she says she has. She impacts the people that she says she does. Hit me up on any of the platforms that you're watching this on. Hit me up in the DMs. I love having conversations there. And if you're like, you know what, I don't actually know what to say on my social media. I've been ghosting my timeline for a while because I need an easier way. I created the 52 set of power prompt cards. Literally, it'll get mailed to your office or home. Go to powerpromptcards.com to grab yours. They are terrific conversation starters to get your social media feed buzzing and talking with collaborations.
Okay, you better have some cards, some prompt cards. Okay, I love it. Y'all, and let me just tell y'all something too. Just because Chanel is our guest, y'all know me and Deana, we meet every other week. She's not teaching you how to be an influencer. She's teaching you how to influence. And there's a big difference.
Yes.
We can have a whole nother conversation about that, guys. You know,
I was going to say, that sounds like another topic.
It's a big difference between being a social media influencer but influencing the masses. And so you don't what she not trying to teach you how to do is how to get 100,000, a million followers, but how to be able to leverage your social media to build that the what's the word? What's the word I want to use? Not confirmation, but you know what I'm trying to do.
Your authority.
Social proof.
The social proof, yes. So, okay, well, let me tell you guys how to get in touch with me. So, listen, again, I work with speakers, I work with coaches. If you want to learn how to leverage your book or your future book and get on more platforms, okay, if you want to leverage your book or your future, hold on, y'all. I got this. This live TV. Wait, why nobody tell me about my screen in the back? Wait a minute. That's okay. Y'all gonna see this on this live TV today. Okay, just so y'all know, everything ain't gotta be perfect for you to go out here to change lives. All right. So again, guys, if you are a speaker and a coach, you want to leverage your book or your future book, I have a simple system. A simple system that you can follow 2 to 4 hours per day, staying consistent, and you'll be able to get on more stages if you want to get on more podcasts, more TV shows, more magazines, and then also have a system so that when you get on those platforms, what you need to do is go to howtospeakonmorestages.com. I have a free masterclass that's going to talk to you about the mistakes that a lot of speakers and coaches that are authors make and how to get to the bag. So howtospeakonmorestages.com. Ladies, thank you so much for being here for Let's Talk Collaboration.
Yes, thank you for coming, Chanel. Thank you for joining us today.
Yes, Chanel. Absolutely. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of comments and people following up because this is such an important conversation and I'm so grateful for you. All right, y'all. Well, we're going to see y'all on the next live.
Bye, y'all. Bye.